The massive increase in home sharing through websites such as Airbnb over the last few years has provided an opportunity for people to rent out rooms or homes for some extra cash. But there is increasing concern by housing charities and activists across the world and in Ireland that this is contributing to rising rents and lack of housing for the local population. In New York City, where Airbnb has been operating for a long time, a recent report has shown that rents increased in the city as a consequence of the commercial usage of Airbnb to let multiple units. It also showed that up to 5,000 homes had been removed from the long-term rental market due to Airbnb. When searching for entire homes to rent on Airbnb in Dublin, it results in hundreds of homes being advertised. Some of these may be people renting out their home while being away on holidays, but many are being rented out for much longer. One host, called Parnell Suites, is clearly a company or a landlord. In a small area of Dublin, near the Guinness Storehouse, we found 2 buildings where hosts are renting out multiple units in the same building. At least one of these do not seem to have the legally required planning permission. According to the website Inside Airbnb, which collects data for various cities, almost 44% of Dublin hosts have multiple listings. The average availability of properties is 139 days per year. Both these figures point to a high number of commercial operators and a large number of homes being removed from the long-term rental market. In other countries, regulation has been introduced to limit Airbnb activity by commercial operators. In Amsterdam, for example, you can only host Airbnb guests for 60 days. In London, the limit is 90 days, while Paris has an 120-day maximum. Ireland has no regulation in place for the short-term letting market. Minister for Housing Eoghan Murphy announced in April that a working group report was due, but this has not yet been published, and neither has a possible memorandum of understanding between Airbnb and the department. A joint Oireachtas committee recommended in October 2017 the introduction of new regulations such as a 90-day limit. The only legislation currently in place is the requirement of specific planning permission for short-term lettings in apartments, but only one case has been taken to court over this. At the same time, Airbnb has been extremely active in its lobbying of the Irish government. They met with Eoghan Murphy almost immediately following his assignment as Minister for Housing. In 2016, it was reported that Airbnb had lobbied Irish politicians 38 times over the previous 18 months, including private meetings between its Chief Financial Officer and former Minister for Finance, Michael Noonan. While the solution to the housing crisis is primarily to build public housing, the complete lack of regulation in Ireland for short-term lettings is contributing to the problems. Commercial operators should be banned from operating, and a strict limit on days should be implemented. This would benefit not only those looking for long-term housing, but also those genuinely using Airbnb to share their homes on an occasional basis.